quick thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. They keep this show free to listen to.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Peace and Parenting podcast. I am so glad to be back and with you all. And I know I've taken quite a hiatus. And if you are still here, thank you for still being here. I lost my dad in June and I needed to take a little break for myself. And there were some things that I really learned through this break that I wanted to share. And the most important thing I think I learned was this idea of parenting through really hard moments. And that sometimes our parenting has to take the back seat to our well-being, has to take the back seat to our adult life, and that's okay because there is no other way. And what I've really learned is this idea that you can't do it all. You really can't. And you can't be the kind of parent you probably want to be all of the time. That's just not possible. And we shouldn't require it of ourselves. And we shouldn't have that expectation of ourselves. Because when we have that expectation of ourselves, then we're letting ourselves down. And then we feel like we're letting our kids down. And so in this break where I wasn't, doing the podcast and I took a little step back from my work and I took a step back from kind of everything because I lost this important person in my life, I realized that I had to cocoon into myself to be able to preserve what was left of my own existence because I took a huge tumble and a fall. And I think these things happen in death. I think these things happen in separation and divorce. They can happen when you are having a huge family conflict or a big family move. There's all kinds of times where your parenting isn't going to look the way that you think you want it to. And that's okay. And give yourself the moment to breathe. I took literally 3 months off of my parenting. Now, granted, my kids are older and it's a bit easier to do that, but I could feel it. I could feel it in my connection with Esme. I could feel it in my connection with Pia. I could tell that I wasn't putting in the time and the effort that I probably should or needed to, but I couldn't. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay to start rebuilding again. And I'm okay to jump back into connection when and where I can. And what I have really seen with other people that I talk to is that this is the case for a lot of us, but we beat ourselves up and we chastise ourselves for not being able to do it all. And especially as moms, I think we really tell ourselves we have to do everything. We have to be the sole provider of all things child. And when we have things that we need to provide for ourselves, like self-care and the cocooning in and the taking care of our own emotional well-being, and when those things need more care than our child, we beat ourselves up. And ultimately, I think also what I've learned in this time off is that if I'm not okay, my family is not okay. And so sometimes prioritizing myself, in fact, I believe prioritizing myself all of the time is the best way to help my family. And so me taking these 3 months to take care of myself really in the long run benefits my children more than it even benefits me. Because without me as their anchor and losing their other anchor, what is it that they have? if I pushed through, so let's say I decided to push through and I did the podcast and I worked really hard at my job all the time and I poured myself in like I had been, what would have been left of me? And where would have the interactions gone between me and the girls? Would the interactions have been far more tumultuous? Would the interactions have been less connected because I wasn't connected to myself and I wasn't taking care of my grief? And so I guess we have to say to ourselves, we are more important in some ways in this abstract kind of thinking than our children, because we are also the most important thing for our kids. So if we're not able to, or we're not preserving our well-being, then how can we come to them? I think this happens in a lot of different ways for families. And I think, if you're in a two-parent family, there's lots of places where one person's going through one of these experiences and the other person is not. And trying to help that partner get through those moments is really difficult too. Maybe it's a work transition or a loss of work. Maybe a parent has lost their own parent. And so really saying like, we don't have to be 100% on all the time. We don't have to be the most amazing parent all the time. And in fact, we can't. And we shouldn't strive to do that. We should strive to just do the best that we can when we can, and to keep relationship the top priority. If we keep relationship the top priority, the relationship we share with ourselves, the relationship we share with our children, and the relationship we share with all of the people in our family, if we keep that top priority, we can't go wrong. But does that mean that you have to be working and doing all the things that you feel as if you have to do, doing special time every single day and making sure that you're not yelling and, really like I see people who want to do connected parenting or respectful parenting or peace and parenting or whatever you want to call it. And they do it very tightly, right? I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it right now. And believe me, I have been that person. I've been that, want to do it perfectly person, want to do it perfectly parent, want to do it perfectly parenting coach, want to do it perfectly Christmas, want to do it perfectly everything, because that's the kind of personality I have. And I think many of us do. And it doesn't behoove us to be in that space, because it ends up sacrificing the relationships that we share with the people who we share our lives with, because those lives are affected by our strive to do it all right. So when I see these parenting people who are embracing connected parenting, and I'm so glad they are, I look and I see myself. I see this like, well, I have to do special time every single day. And if I don't do it every single day, then everything's going to be bad. And if I do it every single day, then I want these results, right? It's a very tight, driven, like hard way to be with people and to be with yourself, because then you're pressuring yourself as a parent to do it all perfectly. And when we don't, then we feel bad. And when we feel bad, then we get into a place sometimes where we're not behaving in the ways that we want to behave, because we're judging ourselves and we're shaming ourselves. So I guess my best advice to you is, if you're going through one of these hard times, and if you're not going through one of these hard times right now, believe me, you will go through one of these hard times. And they're hard. And they're hard on you, and they're hard on your parenting, and they're hard on your kids. But it's normal. Please know that it is totally normal, and that you will get through it. And there is another side. And there is a place where connection becomes more paramount, and where relationships succeed, and where we repair and bond, and where we recover. And when we show our children this, we show them you have to prioritize yourself when you're not doing well. You might have to cocoon in, and that's okay. Instead of showing them and modeling them, push through, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which my dad was a real big fan of. And when we can show them that that isn't necessarily how we take care of ourselves, now we're teaching also in all of this turmoil and chaos, we're teaching another important lesson. Because the most important thing we can do, the most important thing that we can, or the way in which we teach our kids the important things in life is by modeling them and showing them and making them aware that this is the way we navigate and this is the way we get through. So what beautiful lessons during divorce and separation, during big moves, during employment, uncertainty, during financial upheaval, during these things that us adults have to endure, showing our kids that we take care of ourselves and that we make sure that we're okay. Because now let's put ourselves, 30 years forward. You're going to see your kids struggle like we're struggling, and you're going to want them to take care of themselves so that they can be there for your grandkids. And if you've modeled this for them decades prior, they're going to get it because they internalize that. Children learn from modeling. We all know that. My parents modeled all kinds of things, and it's exactly what I learned and how to be a parent. And I had to unravel those things in order to be the kind of parent that I want to be. But if we're modeling from the onset, the things that we think are important, our kids are winning. So just take that into consideration, and please be kind with yourself when you're going through hard moments. And by the way, these hard moments don't have to be monumental. These hard moments can also be the bad day. These hard moments can be the week where your house is under construction, or that, your fence fell down and you can't afford to put up a new fence. There's so many things that happen in life that cause us to be rattled, and they're never going to end. And so even if you're not going through death or divorce, I'm sure there's things in life that are hard to navigate, and you take care of yourself first, and you make sure that your feelings and your upset is taken care of. In Peace and Parenting, we do something called listening partnerships, where we pair people up with another parent who's parenting this way. And these listening partnerships become the place where we can offload the feelings of the turmoil, of the dysregulation of our own childhood, or the things that we're going through. Whatever gets in our way of parenting the way we want to parent, we take those issues to listening partnerships. And our partners listen as we offload the feelings that are getting clogged and keeping us from being the best parent we want to be. Now, is it a perfect, solution to everything? Absolutely not. But it helps. It helps us become more regulated. And so if you're looking for a listening partnership, or you don't even know what they are, please find us. Please contact us. We have all kinds of resources to get you a listening partner. And in our communities, we make it a priority to make sure everybody has a listening partner, because we want everyone to feel as supported as they can. And the beautiful thing about listening partnerships is that they're free, and that they're self-driven, and that people continue to have these listening partnerships years and years later. Thank you for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'll see you next time. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment, and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions.